organization is, Global Federation of Animal Sanctuary. That's what working for the animals and saving species. They're not going out, they're not breeding animals. They're not allowing you to touch the animals.
Right.
They're not going out and taking them in public. And so that's the solution. I mean, it's the anti-captive solution to conservation, which is
Yeah.
brilliant. Keep
Yeah.
the animals where they belong in the wild. If you're going to raise funds, and if you have funds left over, just like Big Cat Rescue did, if there's funds left over in your budget, you donate those funds to the actual conservation projects in the wild to help save those species in the wild, and not just continue breeding for the public dollar.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Now, where do you think, where do you see zoos and sanctuaries here in the next 10 years? As far as you think people are going to open up their eyes and realize that maybe they'll start supporting zoos little by little, and we'll start seeing them kind of close down. What do you think?
Yeah, great question. I can't be that altruistic. Having been in animal welfare for 30 years, I'd love to see something like that happen. I think that, give credit where credit is due.
Mm-hmm.
Zoos have evolved to become better than they were in the 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s. I think they'll continue to evolve. We as the public need to hold them accountable, more accountable,
Mm-hmm.
and help them and require and demand that they evolve faster. I think that, a perfect example is empowering people through information and education.
Mm-hmm.
Films like Michael Weber's The Conservation Game.
Absolutely.
I mean, I worked for a zoo that had white tigers. I didn't know anything about white tigers. As part of conservation,
Yeah.
it's just a mutated gene. I then went to work for a sanctuary that's like, wow, there's exotic animals as pets. Like, I was 41 years old, college educated, and knew nothing about the exotic animal trade. So I think I honestly think there's a huge part of the general public that just needs to be empowered with the facts regarding all these issues. And I think then that is the bigger part of, the people that are exploiting these animals, they're the minority of humankind.
Right.
But they're deceiving the majority.
Yeah.
And so I think that if we empower the majority, they'll make the best decision, and we'll all collectively put these exploiters out of business and put the bad to work. You've seen, after PETA went after them and some other HSUS and some other good organizations, all of these nefarious people in Tiger King are all but one pretty much, or all but two are out of business.
Yeah.
So I have high expectations that at least one more of those will go out of business as well. So I think that, it's all about opening the eyes of the public. Take our blinders off. That you got to take the blinders off. And so just like the faux conservationists have deceived us for years, zoos still need to clarify their mission, vision, and I think they're still being a little they're not being 100% truthful as far as where your dollars. You're not going to go to a zoo, take a picture with any of these exotic animals. That doesn't make you become part of the solution for the saving those species in the wild. So I think you just need to empower the public with the truth.
Right. No, I completely agree.
I don't think. Yeah, but to answer your question, I don't think zoos are ever going away. I mean, certainly not in my lifetime. And so that's not the way to approach it. The way to approach it is more realistically, and that's you and I and everybody else in the United States and around the world that is actively working towards empowering the public about the facts regarding captive animals and captive conservation.
Right. I completely
agree.
agree.
That will speed up the evolution of zoos and sanctuaries and anyone that's holding captive animals.
Definitely, yeah. And I think kids nowadays are a little bit more aware about what's going on, and they're growing up with these conversations that you and I are having, as opposed to, I growing up, we didn't really have much of this topic going on in the world. And I think it's becoming more popular, and I think the whole animal rights movement is one of the big next movements for us in our human history. And I really hope that it comes in fast and we get to accomplish a lot of things with it.
Well, it's exciting, as to be part of the solution. And I think that, if you told me 5 years ago that Ringling would be going out of the animal business and that SeaWorld would stop, exploiting their orcas as much as they had, and all these other things, if you told me that was going to happen in 5 years, I was at, yeah, good luck with that. But now we've got the Big Cat Public Safety Act
Yeah.
on the cusp of, going through. And so we are at the tipping point.
Mm-hmm.
And we, as you know, we have to remain diligent and forceful in holding these people that are misguiding and misleading the public
Right.
into believing that they're actually part of conservation. Imagine what the power of the AZA could do at 240 zoos across the country, and
Mm-hmm.
some of their organizations, their aquatic parks around the world are AZA accredited. Some people don't know that in Mexico and in the Asian areas,
Mm-hmm.
some of their parks are AZA accredited, and they do photo ops there in Mexico and
Yeah.
overseas, and I think it's Japan. Um, People don't know that.
Yeah.
So how are we going to change if we don't know? So absolutely.
Right. Definitely. Well, that's very true. So what's next for you? Any other projects coming up?
I'm going to ride this one up. I have, probably follow me. I was researching ambassador animals and the exploitation of them before Michael Weber came
Mm-hmm.
along. It was just a passion of mine to hold the zoos accountable. I'm going to continue on this path with the privilege and pleasure of walking hand in hand with Tim Harrison
Good.
and Michael Weber and Kearney and Nasser Garcia and Keith Gadd and Russ Muntz. And we're gonna see this, and we're gonna, because it's powerful now. We now have a tool
Yeah.
that we can help empower a great part of the population with. And I think that we're gonna continue dedicating our time and resources toward doing that. And I don't know if a lot of people understand, but this is a grassroots from the top down. Michael
Mm-hmm.
Weber and all of us on the team, we're doing this with our own funds. Nobody's paying us. Nobody's paying us for
Yeah.
travel. The film festivals, they don't reimburse. I mean, we're doing this because we believe in it.
Yeah. No,
And so
I completely
I'd like to see where,
I
yeah, I'd like
completely
to see where
understand
this goes for the
where you're
next.
coming from as a fellow
Yeah,
filmmaker. So
yeah,
I know how it is. I mean, a lot of my stuff mostly is self-funded as well, and the traveling and all that gets expensive, but it's you got to put the word out there.
yep. And so I'm looking forward to taking this as far as it'll go. And as the universe has put me where I'm supposed to
Yeah.
be, from the corporate to the zoological to the sanctuary to the film world, because I never imagined being in the film world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely receptive to what my next step will be, because I've still got a lot to give for the animals. And so I'm just open-minded and open-eared and waiting to see where it's going to lead me. And until then, we're gonna continue speaking up and push for the Big Cat Public Safety Act and push for people to stop exploiting these magnificent creatures
Yeah.
for any reason, whether it be on TV or any reason like you're so passionate about. So
Right.
I'm grateful for your tireless dedication. It was great meeting you out when we were in California, and
Likewise.
you've worked with a couple of my colleagues, and it's in the not. I'll take it all the way back to fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
So in the nonprofit world, they said it's the example is a three-legged stool. You need all different. You need the activists. You need the funding people.
Yeah.
You need the moderates. You need the radicals.
Yeah.
All together, you make that perfectly balanced and successful campaign. Whether whatever animal welfare project you're working
Right.
on. So I think we've got that now with the team we have, and we're going to push it to the max, and proud to be part of it.
Yeah, likewise. Well, you guys, count me in as well. I'm here for the long haul. I've been doing it for almost 10, 11 years now. So I'm not going anywhere.
Now we appreciate you, Alex. It's a privilege, and it's inspiring, because oftentimes you feel like you're alone out there. If you're working or volunteering at a sanctuary, and we worked and volunteered at a couple sanctuaries, sometimes you feel alone.
Yeah.
You're just a cluster of really hardworking, well-intended animal advocates, and you don't realize till you start gathering together
Yeah.
the strength and the power of that community, and that's what we're finding. And so we're grateful for you, the powerful
Right.
voice that you have
Thank you.
in carrying our messages out there, whether it be for cats or primates or elephants or any other of these magnificent species. Or I'm sure we could say collectively that our common goal is
Yeah.
to keep these animals in the wild, these sentient creatures, where they belong in the wild, not to
Absolutely.
hold them captive and breed them for captivity.
Absolutely. Well said.
Privilege.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. It's been a privilege for you coming on to the show. This has been very interesting. I'm sure my audience is going to be loving all the information you've been giving us today, and we'll definitely have to bring you on to the show. I think once the movie comes out in streaming, I'd love to hear more about the feedback of what you're getting, and see what's, what new projects you might be working on in the near future.
Yeah, appreciate it. And just, keep up with us at on Facebook. It's the Conservation Game Movie, and of course the website, theconservationgame.com, and we've got all of our updates. But I'm telling you, stay tuned. November's going to be an exciting month.
Good. I can't wait for it.
Great. Thanks very much, Alex.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. You have a good day, and we'll talk soon.
Be well. Stay safe.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.